So not quite through yet. Getting this up, framed this up right here to match up this. And the only reason I did this wasn't to shore up this or anything like this. This is because I want to extend the pattern of that right there over here, where the boards will be going that way, and that's the way the strength is supposed to go. The long, the length-wise way. That'll come out to here, and so that will give it the same kind of support right there. And then this will come back. You have to span at least 2 joists with this kind of flooring. Plus, it'll be another flooring on top of it, and it'll go the other direction, so that'll make up for the whole thing. But anyways, did want to show that yesterday I had said something about this gap right here. And the gap did close up. I think yesterday it was 1/4 of an inch, and now it's like, no, it's still 1/8 between, so it's sort of like, 3/16. Well, not 3/16, but or excuse me, 1/8. So, which is 2/16. Yeah, so about 3/16. So it's closed up a little bit, not a whole lot. This one didn't. When I jacked this one up, I got 2 jacks under here, and the reason I went ahead and left those jacks on there is I want to go ahead and put some bridging in here to kind of hold the whole structure up while I let it down. Like I said, eventually I'm going to come back here with a beam underneath here and do the whole floor. Even though this floor is not so bad, this is one of the better floors in the house. Only because the span is not as great as some of the other places. It still has settled over the years. This one, when I jacked it up yesterday, it was creaking. It's when I got 3/4 away, I started going popping, and I knew I had to be real careful. But it held up okay, and that's what you have to. When old wood is moved in a direction that it hasn't moved in years, that you got to be real careful with it. That's what I'll have to do whenever I jack up various parts of the floor in this house. Is that I'll have to do it slowly. I may have to do it over a span of a week or 2 or more. Maybe go halfway the first time, just depending on. Just kind of listen to it, because you don't want to put too much strain on it immediately, because the wood could do some detrimental things, particularly since I won't be sistering them in other parts of the house like I am right here. But another thing that I wanted to show was we had a pretty good downpour this morning, and this is the, you can't really see it here, but it's kind of soft right here. It's kind of moist. So that means water's getting in here. Water got in at least here, and it is a lower spot. But it probably got in through here. I've not done a whole lot of work to get to mitigate the water problems right here. For right now, that'll be a future, something done in the future. But I want to go ahead and put some plastic down here before I put the flooring in, so I can go ahead and have that done, so I can go ahead and have a better encapsulation plan than was already in place. But I did want to document the fact that it is kind of wet under there, so that tells me, yeah, they're definitely going to have to do something. This being kind of the low spot of the house, in that this is where the water comes. Talked about the slope of the yard and the way that the water runs this way, and the fact that also that this is north. Now, the advantage here is the idea here with the encapsulation with the underlayment. The moisture will be underneath the underlayment, and so it'll help to prevent that from getting up into the crawl space once that is laid down properly. And of course, then eventually when I get the dehumidifier back in service to make up for that, then I was looking right there. That's almost like this. Yeah, I thought maybe it was wet for some reason. I said, what is it wet for? But it's not wet. But yeah, right there it's wet. And right here, though, it's dry. It is a higher spot than that. That is a low spot right here. So obviously the water's going to go where the lowest spot of the area is. And like I said, it probably came in through here somewhere. This is where the porch was. I've got tarps out there and everything, but doesn't mean that there's not, just water coming in through here. So, yeah, so I want to come back. I need to get some sand and just kind of backfill some sand around in here, just to kind of, help with water retention and everything. So sand won't hold water. It'll just kind of seep through it. Clay tends to, as you can see, clay dries up and tends to hold water. But it's kind of, It's not hard packed clay, but again, I just want to show the progress this far, show the gap, show the water, and going on to the next steps.